Hi friends, I'm excited to see you even though it's through online. I'm actually not seeing you right now, but you know what I mean. I get to talk to you guys through here. So we're gonna start our math lesson today. Today is March 16th, 2020. The learning does not stop, so please make sure you're gonna take out your math notebook and your Bridges workbook because you will need it in a little bit. We're actually going to start with the do now. It looks very familiar to a do now that we did last week, and it's just further practice. Our class, Miss Marlonado's class, got 28% on this. 28% of my students got this question right, and I'm pretty sure the other two classes did just as poorly on this question, and that's why we're going to review it. So I'm just going to make this bigger so you guys can see it. So this is what we're going to do. I want you to take out your math notebook because we're going to need it in a second. As soon as I say write something down, make sure you're writing it. I know we're not there to enforce it and to tell you take it out and all of that, but this is your learning. And I know it seems like 2 weeks is not a lot, but 2 weeks is a lot that you're losing out on your learning. So make sure you're doing it with us. Okay, so our do now for today is all about area and perimeter. And so we need to remember the difference between area and perimeter. This is like a big concept that students in 3rd grade typically struggle with. Remember that perimeter is the distance around a shape. So for instance, if I was making a little garden space for my cats or my dogs, that I have some dogs, what I would have to do is that I would measure the side of the fenced area or measure the rectangle where I'm going to make the fence. And so once I measure all sides, I could go to Home Depot and say, hey, I really need this amount of wood in order to build this fence. That's perimeter, and we have to add all the sides together to find perimeter. When we talk about area, we talk about the amount of space that something takes up. And that's represented in square units. Okay, so that's the difference between both of them. Area has to do with the inside, perimeter is the outside of a polygon. So if we look at the problem, it says a shaded rectangle is shown on the grid. So I'm looking at my shaded rectangle. It's kind of empty, but that's the one that we're using. Shaded rectangle, and each box represents 1 square unit. So it says, what is the perimeter in units of the shaded rectangle? So you're going to write that down, what's highlighted in green. The perimeter of the shaded rectangle is because You're going to write that one down. And then the second question is, what is the area in square units of the shaded rectangle? The area of the shaded rectangle is because So pause it now so that you can write both of those statements. And you're going to solve for perimeter and for area, and when you come back and you unpause, we're going to solve it together. Okay, that means you're back. You've paused, you solved it, you've written your statements, and now we're going to solve together. So we're going to start with perimeter. Remember, perimeter is when we add all of the sides together. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to count the sides. So if I see this is a separation, so that's one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you wrote for perimeter that you received 12, or you were able to score 12, that is correct. You should have written something like the perimeter of the shaded rectangle is 12 because I counted all of the sides together, or I added all of the sides together. For area, remember that's represented in square units, so I literally can just count my square units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The area of the shaded rectangle is 5 square units because I counted the number of square units, or I could write an equation. So if I know that area is length or height times width, I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 units on this side, and then I have 1 unit going down. So, or my so my width, is 1. So this is 5 times 1, and 5 times 1 is 5. So the area of the shaded rectangle is 5 square units because I multiplied area or height times width. So that's our do now. Pause right now. If you made a mistake, go back in your work and see where you made the mistake. And now we're back. So now we're going to continue with math. We're going to do, that was just a do now. This is going to be like the meat of our lesson, like what we're really learning today. And it's very similar to what we were practicing last week before we went on break. Learning intention, today I will solve two-step problems that involve multiplication as well as addition and subtraction. Success criteria, I can write equations using addition, subtraction, and multiplication to represent the story problems and solve each step of the story problem. So you need to really break down a problem in order for you to solve it correctly. And language intention, I will say things like, or I will write things in my notebook like, I think the following equation represents the story problem, because. And then social intention, I will make sense of the story problem and persevere in solving them. Because especially now that you're working from home or you're doing work at home, you want to try your very best at home. So we're going to try to do this work using a number talk. So last week we did a little number talk with some panthers or some baby jaguars. Now we're going to do some wolf cubs. So at a national park, 5 female wolves each gave birth to a litter of 5 wolf cubs. Each cub weighs about 16 ounces. How much do all of the wolf cubs weigh? A, what is this problem asking us to do? Okay. B, write an equation for the problem. Use a letter to represent the unknown quantity. It can be the letter W. And C, solve the problem. So I'm going to have you pause. And you don't have to write the story problem all over again, but just use the numbers in order to solve. Pause and solve. All right, we're back. So now we're going to solve it together. We're just going to make sure that you got the answer correctly. So we have the problem here. I'm going to read it one more time to really think about how I'm going to solve each part and what is it really asking me to do. So at a national park, 5 female wolves each gave birth to a litter of 5 wolf cubs. Each cub weighs about 16 ounces. How much do all of the wolf cubs weigh? A, what is this problem asking me to figure out? Well, the question is there. It's asking me how much do all of the wolf cubs weigh? And part B says I have to write an equation for the problem and use a letter to represent the unknown quantity. So I know it's asking me how much do they weigh, so I'm going to go back. It says 5 female wolves each gave birth to a litter of 5 wolf cubs. So each mommy gave birth to a litter of 5. That makes me think multiplication because it's saying each, right? So each mother gave birth to 5. I don't know how many wolf cubs yet, so I can't figure out how much they weigh. So I'm going to start my equation. So I'm going to have 5 times 5. And I know that 5 represents the 5 female wolves, and then the times 5 is that they each gave birth to 5. I'm going to separate that with a parenthesis so I don't forget. And then each one weighs 16 ounces equals, let's say W, because W is for our wolf cubs, or the weight of our wolf cubs. Okay, I can start by multiplying 5 times 5. I'm going to grab a pen. So that's 25, because 5 times 5 is 25, and then I'm going to multiply that, by 16. This is a big number, but you know what? We can handle it, because we're going to decompose. So I have 25 times 16. I'm going to do my decomposing up here. Those are really big numbers, but I think we can do it. And I'm going to take a different color so you guys can see. I think I might decompose the 16 into 3 friendly numbers. I can decompose it into a 10. Guess what my numbers are going to be? You can shout it out at home. What do you think my other 2 numbers are going to be as I'm drawing these circles? You're right if you said a 5, because 5 is an easy number and so is 1. Okay, so I'm going to start with multiplying 25 times 10. And if we remember our strategy for when we multiply by a multiple of 10 or like a 10, you can multiply 25 times 1, that's 25, and we have a 0, all right? We have a multiple of 10, so I'm literally just going to add a 0 to the end of that. That gives me 250, okay? So I'm going to scratch that out, and now I have 25 times 5, and excuse my handwriting, it's kind of hard to do it on my computer. Well, I know 25 times 4 is 100, 25, 50, 75, 100, and I'm just adding 25 more. So that's 125. Okay, Good, so far so good. This is not too hard. And now I have to multiply 25 times 1. And I know 25 times 1 is 25. Okay, and now I have to add all of my products together. I know 0 and 5 ones plus 5 ones is 10 ones, and I'm going to carry over this 10. So that's 10 plus 50 is 60, plus 20 is 80, plus another 20. All right, let's count that again. So 10 plus 50 is 60, plus 20 is 80, 80 plus, that's 100. So I'm going to carry over the 100. So now 100 plus 200 is 300, 400. So really all of the little wolf cubs weigh 400 ounces each. If you did not get this problem right, pause the video, go back, rewatch this part to see where you made the mistake. Or look in your notebook and see where you made the mistake. Okay, so you've gotten this far. So now here's the part where it's more of your independent time that you're going to do. In your Bridges workbook, there should be a page. Let's look at the page number. It's page 222. It's page 222, so you're going to solve. You're going to solve on your page 222 in your workbook. We have question 1, we have question 2, question 3, question 4. So you have 4 questions to solve independently. Ooh, we have a guest over here. So 1 second. And then I'll just read the first question to you so you guys have a good start. Sorry, it's kind of hard to film with Nova. Nova, stop it. No more licks. Okay, so question 1, Sarah bought a sheet of stickers with 2 rows of 5 stickers on it. The stickers cost 6 cents each. How much did Sarah pay for the entire sheet of stickers? What is this problem asking you to figure out? Write an equation for the problem. Use a letter to stand for the unknown quantity and solve the problem. Show all your work, including numbers, words, or labeled sketches. Try to do every single question. Make sure you're writing a statement for each. And I will see you in the next video.